Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We have a new Super Sugo Fest announced, so in today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video we are going to talk about it, of course see the structure but also all of the bats available, because this is another One Piece Film Red collaboration Super Sugo Fest with characters from the movie of course, which I have seen people on social media calling game breaking, but it is gonna be very interesting to see what they do. I haven't yet, we're going to do it together and see if they are worth to go for or not of course. And as we can see here, because we are in the official One Piece Treasure Cruise Discord right now, link to join will be in the description, shout out to Godot and everyone else of the homies that posted the information. We see a screenshot over here from the One Piece Treasure Cruise official Twitter account, and we can see Super Sugo Fest for One Piece Treasure Cruise Film Red collaboration of course, summer 2022. We have the prelude with Uta and Chopper, which already happened, the climax that is coming with Shanks, Ben Beckman, Lucky Roux and the 3 rare recruits on August 27th, the one we are going to talk about today, and then we have another coming soon poster, meaning we are probably getting another Super Sugo Fest that will probably be labeled the finale and will include a Luffy legend, Uta's Super Evolution, and I do not know if we are going to get another Shanks legend, because in the climax we are getting younger Shanks. Maybe we are going to see older and more experienced Shanks in the final part of the Super Sugo Fests. That's not official information of course, just my quick speculation about the final coming soon Super Sugo Fest, but Luffy has to get a legend. Let's talk about what we know though, and the upcoming climax Super Sugo Fest with the new Super Sugo Fest Shanks. Structure comes first of course, and we can see that we are getting in part 1 both of the new legends, both Shanks and Lucky Roux Beckman. Shanks will be Super Sugo Fest, Lucky Roux Beckman won't be. This structure generally is the exact same that Uta and Chopper currently have, but we replace Uta with Shanks and we replace Chopper with Lucky Roux Beckman, and of course the 3 rare recruits with the 3 new rare recruits. Steps in part 1 guarantee many legends, we see rate boosted characters, but we don't really have limited pools. Also most likely this Super Sugo Fest will have every legend available in part 1 just like the Uta part 1, and will also be 1.5 times legend rate, which is not that great for a Film Red collaboration, at least in my opinion. At least 2 times would be better. I am not expecting 3 times of course. Then we do not really see a limited pool in part 1. We do see all posters have a 50% chance of being legends, in multi 25 only though, not that great. And then we technically see a limited pool only for Super Sugo characters in multi 30. But it's probably not worth it to go that far in part number 1, especially if you are aiming to get one of the new characters specifically. In parts 2 and 3, we have specific limited pools and available legends, not every legend available. Part 2 will have Shanks available, not Lucky Roux Beckman, and we also see Roger Newgate and Super Tandem Luffy available as well, alongside Shanks. And then in part 3, we do not have Shanks, but we have Lucky Roux Beckman alongside Yamato Ace and Super Tandem Kaido. Part 2 guarantees Shanks in the final poster of Multi 30, and the same goes for the same step but for Lucky Roux Beckman in part number 3. We do not yet know the limited pools available in each part, they will definitely differ though, so you have to wait and see for what legends you are missing from each part, but the rates will be equal just like parts 2 and 3 in the Uta and Chopper Super Sugo Fest. The steps will also be exactly the same as the prelude. We have rate boosted or Sugo rare character in many steps unfortunately. We do although see guaranteed legends and also limited pool legends and super limited pool legend in step number 10, which is a very good step. In day 1 that the Sugo Fest will be released, alongside part 1, we will also see one free multi just like it happened for the release of Uta and Chopper. Part 2 will be available 2 days after part 1, so on August 29th, and part 3 will be available 2 days after part 2 and 4 days after part 1 on the final day of August, August 31st. Let's talk about the upcoming characters though for the Climax Super Sugo Fest, starting things off with Sunny-Kun. I predicted this character will get a unit in One Piece Treasure Cruise in my predictions video for the collaboration, and I was correct apparently. Everyone, by the way, will be Q, which is interesting, just like everyone was int in the prelude. For the rare recruits, we do not care about their captain abilities. Let's jump to the special ability. Reduces crew's special charge time by 2, very good for a rare recruit. Changes all slots including block to character zone type, awesome. And completely removes crew's bind ship ability. Okay, that is something new, we have never seen this before, makes absolute sense for Sunny-Kun. Up until now, only the limit break abilities can remove ship bind and also the super swap of the V2 Straw Hat crew. But with Sunny-Kun, you can completely remove it and no one else can do that. You can also do it with a special, not a limit break ability. For the sailor abilities, of course resistance to special rivers for 2 turns, makes sense. And sets all slots to character zone type at the start of the quest. Very nice, I like those sailors, even though they are not the best, they are pretty comfortable if you want to keep some slots for a stage 3 in an arena, for example. For the limit break abilities, reduce ship bind, okay, and also fear, pretty nice, and the support a base RCV boost to the Straw Hats, absolute trash. The ship bind removing limit break ability does not make much sense to me. The special can already completely remove the debuff. Hopefully we do not see ship bind in multiple stages where it really affects our damage, but even then I do not think ship bind is as important in a stage 3 or 4 as it is in the final stage, so might as well keep the ship bind, let it stack up and then completely remove it with the special. I don't really see the point of this limit break ability, but overall I think the Sunny-Kun is a very unique unit. The thing is though, if ship bind does not appear in a quest, you are probably never going to use this rare recruit. It is a very niche unit, even if special cooldown reduction is needed alongside full slot manipulation, then you might use the unit even though there is no ship bind, but these two need to be together because Sunny-Kun does not provide any other utility or any type of damage boosting. The next rare recruit is the weird combo of Blueno and Coby. We are, by the way, not getting any dual units, even if multiple characters are featured like this unit or Beckman Lucky Roux, still one single unit. For their special ability, they reduce crew's bind and decrease chain multiplier growth rate by 5 turns. They reduce all enemies' resilience by 5 and also reduce damage taken by 85%, and they also boost Q character's attack by 2.25 times. Not that great of a special, I can immediately say. Bind removal is fine, then chain coefficient reduction removal, not always the best. You can counter it with a chain boost, you can also counter it with the chain boundaries and the chain lock. Then the resilience, not always useful, it might be useful though, but end of turn damage and other abilities can also deal with that. Reduce damage taken, okay. The boost in attack is good, only for 2 characters, but in my opinion this rare recruit will mainly be used either 1 if you need the damage reduction and the attack boost, or 2 if you need the bind removal and the attack boost, maybe even the resilience, but not that great of a special in my opinion. For the sailor abilities, a boost for the base HP of Q characters and of top row characters base attack, very standard. Limit break 1 is critical strike, limit break 2 is barrier penetration, okay, and the support is okay, just standard. So not a great rare recruit overall, not a big fan. Again, like the Sunny, in very niche situations they can be the ideal rare recruit, but they are not a must-have unit by no means. Next up we have Mr. Gordon, he's also Q of course, fighter cerebral. He reduces crew's special bind, paralysis and despair duration by 5 turns, and if captain is a Q or in type, boosts Q and in character's base attack by 800 for 1 turn. Okay, very strong utility unit for sure, and you can even get a base attack boost which not a lot of units provide. Probably the best rare recruit out of the 3 so far. We also see a combination of Q and int, not specifically Q, as we saw for Blueno and Coby. For the sailor abilities, reduces character special bind by 5, very good. and also a base stat boost for Q and N characters by 60. The limit break abilities are the exact same as Coby Blueno, and the support seems to be specific. Once per quest, if the crew is inflicted with paralysis status from the enemy, changes supported character's slot to character's own type and reduces crew's paralysis by 1. And he can only be placed on Uta. He might be useful on the Q free-to-play Uta we are going to get from the point event, but of course in Legend Uta she can remove paralysis anyway with her captain ability, so the support is definitely not the best. Overall, we see a strong utility unit that can also provide a base attack boost, which always will be decent. Let's talk about the legends now. First up we have Shanks, Super Tandem, Super Sugo, Barrier Penetration and also Pinch Healing as his limit break abilities. He is Cerebral and Free Spirit, very strong combination of classes, that is for certain, and he is also a Super Type Q unit. Many great things going for this Shanks so far. His captain ability boosts Q character's attack by 5 times, 4 times for all the other characters, so he is a universal and global captain, which is awesome. He boosts their HP by 1.5 times and boosts Q character's color affinity by 1.1, very nice. He reduces damage taken by 10%, makes RCV, TND and Q beneficial to crew, very good, and slightly boosts the chance of landing on those, actually not on those 3, only on Q and TND. Very good captain ability. Simple, but very good. For his special, he cuts all enemies' HP by 10%, not the best. He changes left column slots, including block, to Q, okay, and right column slots, including block, to TND. Very interesting. So we get something more unique and not the common full board manipulation to matching. Left column to Q can help you penetrate barriers and stuff, and then right column to TND can help you with Super Tandem, and of course both are matching because of the captain ability, so I definitely really like the slot manipulation. He can also boost the chain by 1.4, very strong, that is definitely great. Then we have a condition, if 5 or more Q characters are on the crew, that's not great, boosts the color affinity of Q characters by 2.75 times for 1 turn, 2.25 times for the entire crew otherwise. Okay, he is a color affinity booster. He can boost the color affinity for Q for a very high amount if we have 5 or more Q, but if we don't, he still does give a color affinity boost to everyone, just for 0.5 times lower, which I find perfectly okay. It is still a very good color affinity boost. Now if your crew has a chain multiplier addition and color affinity buff when the special is launched, that is very specific but definitely manageable. Shanks reduces enemy damage reduction and threshold reduction by 7 turns and buffs the chain addition by 0.5. 7 turns of reduction, and the chain boost he already provides, for example if we have double Shanks, can go up to 1.9. He's definitely strong. I was a bit underwhelmed at first with the color affinity boosting because color affinity boosting units tend to not be the best, obviously, because if you do not have type advantage they are not useful to you in your damage boosting, but he can boost the color affinity of everyone, he can give you a chain boost, and then if you have those two, you can on top of all that also get some great utility. I do not think it's broken or even overpowered. It really reminds me of the Oiran Trio Legend from the anniversary with Boa, Robin and Nami. 2 debuffs removed and also a high color affinity boost. They can also provide some overheal and stuff. Shanks can give you a chain boost. In my opinion, while of course having different values, they are pretty similar legends. We're not done though, let's proceed to his super type. If any of the following characters are on the crew, Luffy, Beckman, Lucky Roux, Yasop, Rockstar and Uta. Okay, I'm guessing he has to be captain of course. His super typing special goes as follows. He buffs the color affinity by 0.25 times, okay. He changes enemies into strength for 1 turn, wait a minute, cannot change if they apply super type to self, and changes Q into super Q. He can just change the color of the enemy to strength. This is actually insane. All of a sudden the color affinity boosting becomes immensely better. That's a crazy ability though. You can make anyone strength, except if they have super typing, which actually is a bit suspect, because Bandai all of a sudden, like a month after Shanks' release, can be like, everyone from now on has super typing, have fun with Shanks being useless. I mean, not useless, but his super typing being useless pretty much. Okay, they can definitely nerf it. So they have a condition in the super typing where they can make certain he does not go out of control, but this is extremely strong. If you can just go into any piece of content, no matter the color of the main boss, and make that main boss strength, so you can get the color affinity boost from Shanks, you can get the full board slot manipulation, the chain boost, and then on top of that, with him as double captain or other, specials, maybe even get the utility he provides and the boosting on your chain and your color affinity, yes, he becomes extremely strong. We haven't even seen the super tandem yet. For the sailors, boost crews, base attack by 100, make strength count as beneficial for Q, very nice, I mean the first one, whatever. For the limit breaks we saw them, where is the super tandem? There it is. The condition is that from level 1 to 3, 2 of the following need to be on the crew, and the same characters are here as we saw in the super type. Level 4, where there are 1 Q character and 1 of the following, and level 5, just 1 of the following. The super tandem effect now applies a TND boost of different values depending of course on the level, starting from 1.5 times to 2.5 times for Q characters for 1 turn, and makes crews type slots count as beneficial. Okay, this is not super type special levels of crazy, but it can definitely still be very useful. For the support, once per quest, when supported character uses a special, boosts Q color affinity by 1.75 times for 1 turn, and he can be attached to Luffy, Beckman, Roux, Yasop, Rockstar, and Uta. This is definitely a very strong color affinity boost coming from a support, and overall, Shanks' kit seems pretty strong. I am still baffled from the super type ability that you can change enemies into strength. That is actually crazy. Are they gonna just start making everyone have super typing? Because super typing right now at least appears in the super bosses of Kizuna, which fine, definitely Shanks should not be able to change, I understand that. Maybe they did do this specific condition for super boss in Kizuna. Super typing also appears on enemies in some GARP challenges, the more recent ones. It definitely does not appear in arena, raids or point booster events, and then it does not appear in Kizuna either, in the normal bosses of course. There again, they can nerf him with the class or color restrictions for the special cooldown reduction, so he definitely does have his limits. It's not out of the world broken, it is still kind of broken, like you can make anyone strength. But they can manage it, they can limit him, that's what I mean, which definitely does make sense. If he did not have that condition, just imagine, he can just go through anything and make the unit strength. You only need to use Q teams from now on, just get Q units, delete everyone else. In all seriousness though, this is definitely a strong unit. Let's say you cannot change someone to strength, then he definitely is not as strong anymore or as overwhelmingly strong. He is still a good unit. A very interesting Super Sugo Fest Legend release that is 100% for certain. The other legend, which is not a Super Sugo Fest Legend, will be with Lucky Roux and Beckman. They will be a shooter cerebral Q unit, they will be super class as well, and also super tandem. Their limit break abilities are slot barrier removal and also barrier penetration. We see a lot of barrier penetration in this batch to be fair. And then their captain ability goes as follows. They reduce cruise cooldown by 2 turns at the start of the quest, very nice, maybe a speed captain. They boost Q and shooter HP by 1.2 times and attack by 5.25 times when they have a matching slot, 5 times otherwise. When a character has the barrier penetration potential ability, okay, now it makes sense why everyone has barrier penetration. and meets the requirements to activate the potential ability. Okay, so that means, to explain real quick, if you have it level 1, the barrier penetration ability, and it states that your HP need to be 99% or over, and you are at 100% HP, this will work. If you are under 50%, let's say, it won't. So, whenever that character hits a perfect, reduce all enemies' threshold and damage reduction, but also defense up, by 1 turn. Does everyone want to break the game now, or what? Barrier penetration becomes infinitely better now. It doesn't only have the ability to penetrate barriers, weirdly enough, it can also reduce threshold, damage reduction, and defense up. By the way, this does not state that the character with the barrier penetration ability needs to be Q or shooter. Yes, the character might not be boosted by Beckman and Lucky Roux as a captain, but they can still reduce threshold, damage reduction, and defense up. I'm guessing that is the case, which of course will make the effect more valuable utility-wise, but damage-wise for your team that is not the best thing to do. And if we have them as double captain, the reduction of the defensive effects goes to 2. They definitely have a lot of potential. Let's also go to their special. They boost Q and shooter orbs by 2.25 times for 3 turns, and set the chain boundary from 2.75 to 35 times for 3 turns as well. If crew already has an orb boost, when the special is launched, buff the orb boost by 0.3, and if crew already has a lock chain multiplier, when the special is launched, buff that chain lock by 0.25. Okay, the second part, whatever, I guess it is a fail-safe, but the first part, you get a 3-turn orb boost and a 3-turn chain boundary. The orb boost is only for Q shooter, of course, the chain boundaries are universal anyway, it does not matter. They provide no utility outside of their captain ability, that is definitely a disadvantage of this unit. We also have the super typing and stuff though, so let's see that. 5 or more shooter characters must be on the crew. That's kind of a pain. It's not super type by the way, it is super class condition, that is a mistake. And the special reduces all enemies' defense up threshold and damage reduction by 2. Double shooter characters attack for 2 turns as well. Okay, this is 100% an amazing upgrade to shooter characters, and finally we get a super class shooter unit. For their sailor abilities, they boost crew's base stats by 100 if captain is a shooter, and reduce own cooldown by 1 every time another shooter character uses their special, so they are very shooter oriented. It makes sense, they are a super class shooter unit. For their super tandem, 2 of the following need to be on the crew: Shanks, Yasop, Rockstar, Usopp. Then at level 5, 1 of the following needs to be on the crew, and for level 4, 1 shooter, 1 of the following. And the effect of the super tandem applies TND boost of different values depending on level, starting from 1.2, reaching 2 times at level 5 for Q and shooter characters for 1 turn, and reduces enemies' threshold damage reduction and defense up by 1 turn. They love reducing defensive effects, that's for certain. And now for their support, once per quest, when a supported character uses a damage dealing special, that's why Shanks uses an HP cut in his special, now it makes sense. They reduce enemies' threshold, defense up and damage reduction by 1 turn, and they can be attached to Shanks, and that can be very useful, definitely, especially in super bosses in Kizuna, or in normal Kizuna, where that 1 extra turn of the defensive effects will be added after level 30. They are definitely a very interesting unit in my opinion, they are good 100%. And let's say, for example, we have them as double captain, and they of course have barrier penetration. Let's assume it is at level 1, the conditions are met and whatever. The enemy has defensive effects. Just by attacking with those 2, we can remove 4 turns of defensive effects. Am I right? Because it is 1 turn for each captain, so 2 turns of reduction with 1 attack, and we do 2 attacks because they are double captain and they have barrier penetration, so 4 turns. If we add a sailor into the mix, we can go up to 6 turns, and in majority of quests that can be enough to completely remove the given defensive effect of the enemy. If we have them as single captain with a friend captain that does have barrier penetration, let's take Shanks for example, then each attack, if the requirements are met of the barrier penetration limit break ability, removes the defensive effects by 1. The thing with all of these shenanigans is that you are wasting attacks still with the defensive effects active. So, if we have 6 turns of threshold to remove and we do not have a threshold removing special, we only are going to do it with the captain ability of Lucky Roux and Beckman, then we are going to need 3 attacks with them as double captain, essentially wasted damage-wise to remove threshold, and the rest of the attacks will then do normal damage. Not everything is super bright here, because yes, they can 100% help you remove that 1 extra turn, maybe even 2 or 3 extra turns of a defensive effect, but if it is 6 turns in a main boss, the damage output might not be enough if you only want to remove the defensive effect with attacks based on the captain ability of this legend. If you have them as single captains, of course, it's not even viable anymore to remove 5 or 6 turns because you are going to waste majority of your attacks. Good unit, definitely interesting unit 100%, but I do not think they are broken. Now Shanks on the other hand, I don't know if I can say the same. You know what, let's make this interesting. Because perhaps I am overreacting, I am overestimating Shanks. In the pinned comment I have a link for a poll for you guys to vote on if you think the new Shanks is broken or not. Go there, vote, and then I'm gonna make a short with my reaction of the results of this voting poll. Let's see what do you guys think as well. You can tell me in the comments below of course too. Always happy to discuss in the comments. That was my breakdown. If you enjoyed it, definitely leave a like and do not forget to subscribe for more One Piece Treasure Cruise content. As always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. This dude can just change the color of the enemy, what the...